Hello guys, in this video I am going to tell you about the printf command. So in the last lecture I told you about the basic structure of a C program, and I told you that the first line should always be the header file that tell us about the inbuilt function and whatever unknown words that compiler is going to find. That information about that unknown words or unknown functions can be found in this header file. And then we need to write int main curly bracket open, and at the end we need to write return 0 and curly bracket close. I told you that the exact meaning of this return 0 and this int I will explain in the chapter of functions later on. So today we are going to discuss about the printf command. And printf command it helps us to display the information to the user. For example, if I simply write hello world, in most of the book you will find this particular example. So if I simply write hello world, so and now if I run the program like build and run F9, so it is just executing, and you can see that hello world has got printed, right? So whatever data, like if I want to print my name Nishant Jain, and now if I execute by pressing F9, I execute the program. Now you can see Nishant Jain is printed. So it means that printf command help us to display the content, and whatever thing that we want to display, we just have to put it inside the double quote. So the syntax of the printf command is that printf, first of all we need to write printf, each and every alphabet should be small, and with this printf, it is a function whose meaning is can be found over here. So when compiler come across this word printf, so compiler will simply go to the header file and will check the syntax, if the syntax that we have written, this complete syntax, if it is proper or not. If it is proper, then compiler, just following the definition that is there in this stdio.h, following that definition, compiler will just print whatever is there inside the double quote. So the syntax is that first we need to put printf, then we need to start with a parenthesis, then double quote, and then whatever we want to write, we can write that, and then we need to end with a double quote, parenthesis, and the semicolons. With semicolon, I told you that it simply indicates the end of the statement, C statement. So this is the printf command. Now sometimes it happens that suppose if I want, like presently when I am executing this program, so presently Nishant Jain, it is printed on the same line, but suppose if I want to print Jain on to the next line, so how I can do it? So for that we have the sequences. Just a minute, let me close this. So if I just put /n over here, and now if I execute by pressing F9, I am executing this. So now you can see that Jan appears on the next line. Okay, so with the help of just by writing this /n, compiler is able to print the next word after /n, this Jan. Compiler is able to print this word onto the next line, right? So it means that with the help of this sequence, this /n, I can tell the compiler that whatever comes after this /n, that should be printed onto the next line, right? So it is used to force or to tell the compiler to move to the next line, right? If suppose if I put comma over here, or if I put like /n and PhD from IIT Roorkee, so how compiler is going to print this? Compiler will simply start printing whatever is there inside the double quote. So it will start from left to right. from moving from left, it will print Nishant. Then as soon as it found this slash followed by n, compiler will get to know that now compiler has to move to the next line. So compiler will move to the next line, then it starts moving, it starts printing. It will print Jan, and again when it founds slash n, again it will move to the next line, means it will move to the third line, and then it will print this PhD from IIT Roorkee. And so now if I execute this, let me first close this one, and now if I execute this by pressing F9, so you can see now it has printed Nishant, Jan and PhD from IIT Roorkee. It is on the third line. So in this way, like, I can modify the display or the output according to the requirement that how I want to print. Right now there is third requirement, that is suppose over here whatever I have printed inside, whatever I put inside the double quote, it is printed as it is, right? Nishant Jain PhD from IIT Roorkee. But like sometimes it may be required that I want to display some number, and that number is changing within the program. For example, suppose if I declare one number, first I declare one variable a, and then I put a equals to 5. Right now, how I told you in the previous lectures that by writing this int a, I am just declaring a variable that can store only integer value, and just executing this particular line, compiler is going to reserve the memory for this variable a, and that particular part of memory will be symbolically represented with a, or in the program we will just use a to access that particular part of a memory. When I write a equals to 5, it simply means that 5 will be that I am telling the compiler to write or to store 5 in that particular part of a memory, right? So now the thing is that suppose if I want to display the value of 5, so how I am going to display? If I put over here, like suppose if I put value of a is a, so it is not going to work, because whatever we put inside the double quote, compiler execute it as it is, it print it as it is. Like you can see value of a is a, but over here in place of this a, I want to print the actual value. So how I can do it? So to do this, we have the option of format specifier %d. Okay, if I put %d over here, in place of a I put %d, and over here I will write a, then what compiler is going to do, that when compiler start reading this, it will print this value of a is, and as soon as compiler found this % followed by d, compiler will get to know that compiler does not have to print this particular %d. This %d is a special symbol, and it is a format specifier, and it simply indicates to the compiler that in place of this %d, compiler has to print some integer value. Now where is that integer value? That integer value we need to express, we need to put by writing comma followed by the integer value. Over here integer value means integer variable is a, so the value of a will replace this %d. So now if I execute this particular program, say F9, by pressing F9, so you can see now I am able to get value of a is 5, right? If I change, suppose if I change the value of a to 50, and now if I try to execute the program, then you can see that value of a is 50, means the value has changed. So we can print the value according to the present value of a. When it was 5, we were getting 5. When it is 50, we are getting 50. So in this way we can print the current value of the variable. And like suppose if there are two, suppose if I have two variables a and b, and value of A is 50 and value of B is say 5, right? So value of I want to print the value of A and B. So how I can do it? I can do it like this. Value of A and B is %d and %d respectively. And now what compiler is going to read? When compiler execute this particular command, then compiler will start printing from here value of A and B are, and as soon as compiler founds this %d, so compiler will come to know that now it has to print some variable value, and the value of that variable, it can be found after double quote, after comma, and the first variable after comma. That value will replace this first %d. So this %d will be replaced by the value of A. So over here we will get 50. Then compiler will move ahead and it will print end, and again when it found %d, compiler will go at the end, and after A it will expect some variable. So over here we need to put a B. So the second variable that we have put over here, this value is going to replace this second %d, right? So the order in which we have placed the %d, in the same order we need to put the variables, okay? And compiler will just put the value of the variables in the same order in which the %d and variables are placed, right? So if I execute this particular program by pressing F9, so undeclared, okay, so the error over here, it is undeclared B. So since I have not declared B, so I have to declare the variable B, and from here you can note that without declaring the variable we cannot assign value, or we cannot use the variable. So now again if I run the program, so now you can see that we get the output as value of A and B are 50 and 5 respectively, okay? And this is what we have, like A is 50 and B is 5, right? So in this way, with the help of this format specifier %d, we can tell the compiler what type of value compiler has to print, and the variable values can also be printed, right? Now just a small discussion about the format specifier. Like in one of the lecture I told you about the data types, I told you about the modifiers, right? Over there I told you about the ranges, and we have discussed about the bytes, and what we had not discussed is about the format. This format, it is the format specifier. So you can see with respect to character, the format specifier is %c, character %c. When we have int, then we have this %d, and for unsigned, this unsigned, we have %u, right? For long signed, long unsigned, we have ld, lu. For float we have f, for double we have lf, and for long double we have capital LF. So these are the format specifier, and when we put this format specifier in the printf command, compiler get to know that what type of value compiler has to print. So you need to remember this format specifier, right? So with this I end this video, and in the next lecture we will discuss about the scanf command that help us to ask the user to enter some value through the keyboard. So with this, thank you so much, and do subscribe my channel and share this video with your friends and colleagues. Thank you.